afternoon, boys and girls. Got some things we need to talk about here on That's My Opinion. We've got this last Monday we had a city board meeting, and in that board meeting we found out that the taxpayers in the city of Troy is on the hook for $75,000. And the reason for it is because of the Cherry Street debacle, which the mayor of Troy was directly in charge of by his request. Nobody forced it on him. He directly told the construction company to pour that mess down there at Front Street in front of the firehouse. One of the aldermen were there talking with the construction company. The particular alderman had been in the concrete business most of his working life, and he advised the construction company that something wasn't right there and they needed to hold up on pouring the street there until they got some clarification and talked to the mayor. Well, the construction company called the mayor, told him something wasn't right, the plan wasn't right, there was a problem. The mayor called the architect said it's fine, pour it. The mayor instructed the construction company to pour the street there at Front Street and Cherry Street. And it's what we ended up with was the Sconцeville roller coaster. So, you know, now the taxpayers are going to be on the hook for $75,000 to repair that mess. Now, my opinion, the architect that drew up that plan or the mayor, either one, should pay for that mess because they were told it was not right. And the mayor instructed the construction company to pour it anyway. So they knew ahead of time that there was a problem, and they did nothing to go into it, check into it, and see what the deal was. And another thing we found out at Monday's board meeting is the Roanoke Construction Company came back at us again with the Section 8 housing, which, let's clarify something here. Section 8 housing, HUD housing, low-income housing, it's all the same thing. The only difference is the amount of money that the person who's getting that housing pays. It's based on what their wages are. So when they say, oh, that's not Section 8 housing, they're blowing smoke up your proverbial skirt. It is Section 8 housing, no matter how they spin it. But anyway, the Roanoke Construction Company came back at us with the same plan that they had down the street where the previous site was. There at 47 and Ellis Street. They've got the same problem where they plopped it down now. The property that they put the housing project at was in an unincorporated area of Lincoln County. Well, the city fathers deemed it necessary, for whatever reason, to annex it into the city, rezone it 2 or 3 times, all in the same night, and now we're going to have a Section 8 housing project sitting in front of the West Hampton subdivision, a subdivision of $300,000 homes, and they're going to be sitting right across the street from this mess. You got the Boone and the Lincoln Elementary School. There's already a traffic problem. There's only one way in, one way out. There's no sidewalks, no street lights, which I understand Alderman Norman had to go to I think a lady that works at LACOA and get her assistance in getting a grant for the sidewalks and street lights out there. So we're back in the same situation. What changed? Why all of a sudden did we take the same project with the same problems and just move it up the hill in the county? Yet it was out in the county, and then the city decided they needed to annex that. Doesn't make any sense. That brings me to my last point here. That's the reason why we need an audit. That's why we need to have the state audit the books of the city of Troy. There's too much of that stuff that's gone on, that's going on. It doesn't look right, it doesn't feel right. We need to have the state come in and do a deep forensic audit. Yes, it's going to be expensive. It's going to cost a lot of money. But I think in the long run, it's going to end up saving us money because it's going to find out some deficiencies or some places where we can at least improve what's going on in this city. It needs to be looked into. You got Alderman Lyford got elected on the premise that we had deficit spending. We don't have deficit spending. There never has been deficit spending. It's all a big smoke and mirrors. And now he's still saying it. No matter how you slice it, this city has never had a deficit. What we've had is bad budgeting, bad management, and we've got to put a stop to it. It's got to come to a halt. I mean, explain to me why that we've had a 24-year growth rate in Troy, Missouri. Since 2000, we've had a 92% growth increase. Just in the last 3 years alone, we've had a 17% growth. But yet, this year, in the budget, when they did the budget, they budgeted a decrease for 24-25. Makes absolutely no sense. It's starting to look like that we're probably going to end up with in between 20 and 21 million dollars in the coffers at the end of the fiscal year, which is the 30th of June. We should know exactly how much we've got. So how can they say we have deficit spending? It's not deficit spending. It's poor budgeting. It's poor planning. It's poor management. And we as taxpayers have a right to know why we live in the highest taxed city in the state, and we are starting to look like a North St. Louis ghetto. We have, weeds and bushes and growing up in the yard. We've got streets that are falling through. We've got infrastructure that needs to be repaired, and it's just like we're marking time. That's just like with the city administrator that was approved. I guess it's almost been almost 2 years now, and we still don't have a city administrator. Are we going to keep kicking that can down the road? It seems like that's the thing to do. That must be the town sport. Kick the can. Needs to come to a halt. We're the taxpayers. We're paying the bills. We've got the right to ask questions, and we got the right to get answers. And if the current administration doesn't want to answer, they don't want to give us answers, they don't want to tell us why we're in the situation we're in, then they need to get out. They need to resign. They need to walk away. And we need to get somebody in there that will lead this community forward into the future, and we can get our city back on track. And the citizens are going to have to do it. We're going to have to take control. We are in charge. They have to do what we ask them to do, or we can vote them out. And that's what needs to happen. Right now, this city is on autopilot. And the citizens of this community can take back control of their city and get things back under control by signing this petition. I'll be up in the city park this Saturday, 8 until noon, and maybe later if people keep coming. If you'd like to help or volunteer, contact me. We'll work something out, set something up. Come up, sign the petition. You're more than welcome. If you got any questions, everybody knows how to get a hold of me. That's my opinion. If you don't like it, scroll on by. Thanks.